So I thought I would make a video on a couple of things about my car. I've had to, so it's been off the road for about 6 years, and there's a couple of little things that I want to fix, and probably the big one at the moment is the dirty fuel. So today we're going to take out the fuel tank, clean out the fuel tank with a method that I found on YouTube. So normally I have a look at about half a dozen videos and then work out which one suits me the best and give it a go. So I guess I should show you the car first. So let me put my coffee down. So, this is my 1978 XC Coupe. Bought it when I was 22, $8,900, and yeah, that's a bargain. So it currently runs 351 with comp 292 cam, 560 lift, 4-speed top loader, 8 3/4 inch diff. A few things I need to do with the motor. There's a leaky fuel regulator, bit of valve train noise which I'll fix up and hopefully make a couple of videos. So I'll show you underneath the bonnet. So here we are. So basically got the 351. I gave it a bit of a freshen up. Still got to work on the wiring. It's got the 750 HP carby MSD distributor. Yeah, so that's my leaky fuel regulator, which I'm going to mount in a different spot. Old MSD system. I really should call this car Gumtree, because Gumtree, Gumtree. What else we've got? Well, Gumtree. There's quite a few parts from Gumtree. Did fork out some money for the suspension stuff, but anyway, we'll get started. I don't know whether we can see down here, but the oil filter, the fuel filter. So it's got the dirtiest looking fuel, and you can see I've already replaced one. So the one that I replaced over here, it was feral, and I don't really know why, because I have previously I had the car off the road for a couple of years, and I drained the fuel out, and that's when I did the diff, and then I ended up rebuilding the diff. And it was all good, but now, yeah, I had it off the road for 5 years, did exactly the same thing, and then I ran some fuel through it, and it was dirty, rusty. So today we're going to take out the tank and have a go at cleaning it. All right, so I think the first job is to vacuum clean the back of the car out. So let me show you. It's pretty good on the inside. Not much rust anywhere. Well, no rust anywhere. Apparently before I bought it, the guy said that he'd spent extensive time cutting the back of this boot out. Probably just here, mainly where the water sits, but I mean even the lid's pretty good, so no real evidence of rust. The bonnet's a different story, but bonnets come and go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum clean this out, get rid of all this. Don't know why there's wood chips in here. Maybe back in the 90s probably people use this to cut shit everywhere. But I'm going to vacuum clean this out. I'm going to take out the spare tyre. I'm then going to jack up the car, and what we'll do is just under here, which I'll show you, we've got the connection. Well, you can't actually see, I'll probably jack it up first. Right, so we jack the front of the back of the car up. Now I'm just going to take the back wheel off, and then we'll look to undo the fuel hose and the sender unit, drain the fuel out. So we'll keep on going. Now, so fuel hose there, which all we'll do is undo that hose clamp, and there's a metal or steel, I think it's 5/16 line that comes out of the fuel tank. So we've jacked the car up enough to drain any, well, not all the fuel, but just enough to make it easier to lift out, and then we'll undo that that sender. Now you have, so this is the fuel line, and this is the sender, which I should just actually slip off pretty much. There we go, so the sender's off. Oops. So this is the sender, which just comes off here. So then we just need to disconnect this fuel line. Oops, where are we? So we just need to disconnect this fuel line here, and we'll drop that down and then drain the fuel. It's alright. Just gonna drip in the bucket. Oh, it stinks like off fuel. I don't know why though. The only other thing I can think of is I was running a 351, and it was so stock bottom end, and then it had 2V closed chamber heads, and it ran beautifully, but obviously they weren't made for unleaded, so I put the valve lube stuff in it, flash lube, which was great, to protect the seats. But I'm thinking the last time I drove it, I put a bottle in and there was only half a tank of gas, so, but that, I mean, it's only like 50 mils or 25 mils, so. But we'll just slowly let this drain out. This is going to take a while. Alright, well that's draining. I like to plan for the next step, so probably most of you already do this, but I like to use this little tool, just a size catcher. So both imperial and metric, and I just go around, check the size of all the bolts for whatever I'm taking apart or putting back, making sure they've got the tools on hand. There's nothing worse when you're under the car and you need to get another spanner, it doesn't fit. So that is what I am going to do now for the boot. Can't speak today. Let's do it. So in the boot trunk, you've got these little bolts here. So what I do is I just get my little size catcher. Now, being this is 78, so it's an XC Falcon. Majority of the bolts are imperial. So just put it on there, check it, and you can see it's 3/8. So I know that I'll just get 3/8. Now, I normally like to just loosen these up with a bit of WD-40. So let's get started. That's all they are, and just hold this down. We'll actually clean those up before we put them back in. I normally like to put a bit of brake cleaner on and then put WD-40, and depending on where it's going, but this is just, the fuel tank actually just sits and these just hold it in place. So, and given that majority of the time there's fuel in there, there's lots of weight, so I'll take these all out. Alright, so we've got the filler neck, and then we've got this, and I'm pretty sure this is the something to do with vents on emission, or not emissions, it's just the vent for the fuel tank. So I could be wrong though, but I'm thinking this is just a panel, so just a couple of screws, take the panel off, and you can see there's this little contraption. So I'm thinking maybe, what is that? Well, it could be actually to do, oh, my camera works shitty. It could be to do with the sender. I doubt it though, like the float level. I'm not too sure. I'm by no means an expert on any of this, so we'll there we go. We'll just take that out. I'm sure it disconnects pretty easy, but just have to give it a go. Alright, so we've taken this off. This is just a fancy vent. So you've got basically the fuel tank, 4 holes, goes into this these 4 tubes, which then go into one, which then goes out the back of the boot. So yep, and you just got these 2 with little rubber washers. So little rubber washers, or the other one. So we'll keep those. Shitty camera work. And then we'll just move that out the side. Guarantee you I'm going to be cutting this off. Those 4 bolts out, and then if we go to the other side, pretty much this should just pop out like so. So this should pop out, and let's just see. Really hard to do with one hand, but damage, oops, damage the paintwork, so this will just come out like that. So there we go. Now that filler neck should just come out, so let's give that a go. Alright, so we've drained the fuel, got fuel everywhere. We'll now take the fuel tank out. So just to show you how much fuel is in there, got this bad boy full of dirty fuel. My funnel's dropped in there. So look, you can't even see the funnel at the bottom. It is dirty. And then we got that bucket full. So I'm glad that's all out. Makes me sleep at night. But I've got to clean up all this fuel too, and it'll be all gummy crap. So I'm going to set it down. Just got a tyre back here. So I'm going to lift it up, tilt it out, and then set it down on this tyre. That is the plan. So let's see if that works. So this is it. As you can see, fuel everywhere, which I'll clean up in a minute. Stale fuel's out. So yeah, the fuel tank, if anyone else is wondering how it actually goes in, it just basically sits on this little rail, I guess, and then the bolts go in. Now, I mean, I don't drive this car in the rain, and I live in WA where it's pretty warm and not much rain, so you can put, see this silicone, you can see it's sticking to my fingers. I think it's recommended to put some silicone or adhesive for two reasons. One, it just adds to securing the fuel tank, but two, you don't want to get any moisture underneath there, particularly if you're driving in the wet and it's flicking up and coming in the boot. And I think a lot of the time that's where these old Falcons rust out, so ignore the no oil. There is oil in my diff. Check out the colour of that. Yep, is what was clogging up my filter, and I believe robbing me potentially of my octane. I don't know whether it would, but can't be good. I'm just thinking it can't be good for the motor in general, so I'm glad I went to the trouble of emptying it. The fuel tank though, I'm a bit worried about. I'm hoping this little marble and CLR trick will rectify it, but yeah, surely there's going to be ways to clean out rusted fuel tanks, so, because I don't think these are cheap. I think from memory, even the well, it'd have to be reproduction, are over $1,000, so let's see how we go, but making some progress. Could be doing worse things.